Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Lisa's Coloring Corner. I recently did a flip through of both the mandala and the inverted mandala books that I recently received from Sun Life Drawing. There is a flip through of both these books. If I remember, I will link that video down below. But today I wanted to do a color and chat out of the mandala book itself. And the picture that I decided to do was this one. And of course, I'm going to be doing it with my glitter gel pens. I thought I would go with one of my favorite combos, which is yellow, orange, and red. And I decided to pick those colors out ahead of time so I could go through and pick out refills in case I ran out. This is my very last refill for the red. Boo-hoo. So sad. You can tell I use red a lot. So, let's get going. Let me zoom you in a little bit. All right. And again, I always start my mandalas in the middle, a lot of times with yellow. Then I think I will go in with red. So, how is everybody doing? I am recording this on Friday during the day for a change because I do not have the grandkids today. So I am actually able to get a few videos recorded during the day. Now again, for a mandala, I'm going to be turning my book around. I will try not to do it too fast so I don't get you dizzy. I know when I'm watching a coloring video, a color and chat, people typically do have to turn their books and stuff, and it never bothers me, but I know not everybody is like that, so I hope it doesn't get you dizzy. I love this mandala book, and I would like to complete this entire book. It is, you know, a smaller sized book in dimensions, not in the number of designs. There are a lot of designs in this book. But you can get through a mandala, you know, relatively quickly. I have no idea how long this color and chat will be, but I would like to just record this as just one color and chat. So it may be a longer one. I do not know. We shall find out. So yes, it is Friday. I'm not sure if I will be getting this uploaded today or if it will be up tomorrow. Get to my books out of the way up here. There. So tomorrow is Saturday. Any big plans for the weekend? It is Mother's Day weekend, as you all know. Or you should, because you all have mothers. Now, I realize not everybody has mothers with them anymore. My mother passed away also a number of years ago, so it's always kind of a bittersweet day. Never did hear from my kids if they planned on coming out or not. And I didn't really want to ask and, you know, seemed like I was begging them to come out, so I figured one or the other would kind of let me know. This one feels, yep, it's dry already. I should have just refilled it before I started. Didn't know it was quite that low. That's okay. It's not like it takes up much time to refill one of these, right? I always give it a couple shakes before I start coloring because that gets the ink flowing. Who else all has this book? After this color and chat, I still today would like to do another color and chat out of the inverted mandalas, and I want to get some, I'm not quite sure which markers I'm going to be working with, but I want to get some bright markers and color in one of those, because marker is just much easier to work with on those type of mandalas. I have a number of the black background, or inverted as they call them. I have a number of those kind of books, and the ones that I've done in the past, I of course did with glitter gel pens, and it's a little bit more difficult, I think, than what markers would be. So I am going to try markers on that one. Let's go back in with the red. Yeah, this is my favorite red out of the pack. I am again coloring with my favorite gel pens. It's kind of close, isn't it? It's the Chromatech set of 50. I will link these below. For quite a while they were out of stock, the 50 pack. They call it a 100 pack because you get 50 pens and 50 refills. And then there is a 30 pack, and they call it a 60 pack because you get the 30 pens and 30 refills. And the 50 pack had been out of stock for quite a while. Everybody must have found out how awesome they are. Because again, if you haven't seen my previous videos, these have a color number, an alphanumeric number on them, and all the refills do too. So this one's G12. I don't know if you can see that. Not real well. But believe me, in real life, you can see it really. There you go. You can see it real easy. And then the refill in nice big gold letters, or number, alphanumeric, has the coordinating refill. So it's really easy to find the refill. And the colors and the way they color and everything are pretty much identical to the Color It gel pens, only these are much more budget friendly. Color It, you know, don't get me wrong, the Color It gel pens are awesome. They come in that great case. I mean, they're fabulous. But they are a little on the pricey side for gel pens. All of Color It products are wonderful, with one exception. I was not impressed at all with their colored pencils. But otherwise, I think their gel pens are great. Their watercolor brush pens are great. Their alcohol markers are great. And again, they all come in really nice cases. And their books are great too. But again, you pay for it because they are high quality products. So with these being more budget friendly, they're still extremely high quality. I mean, you can see how easy the ink flows, how easy it is to color with them. So yeah. And then, of course, you can order more refills. Alrighty, let's go back in with the orange. Wouldn't it be great if Chromatech came out with even a bigger set? Like 50 ain't enough, right? We always want more. And there are some colors in this set I know I will never, well, never say never, but I definitely will not be using as much as the others, silver being one of them. You know, I really wish they could make a really nice gray gel pen. But there is no such thing as a glitter gray gel pen. They may say there is, but they are all metallic. They may have a shimmer of glitter to them, but they're all really opaque, like metallic gel pens are. And when that's one reason that I don't like the metallic, is because it covers up the black lines, and that just drives me crazy. So no, I do not use the silver gel pens much at all, with the exception of when I color in Sun Life Drawings mosaic books. For all of Sun Life Drawings color by number books, I use my Copics because their color palette is the same throughout all their color by number books. So if one is black in one book, it is going to be black in another book. So I just figured out what all my Copic colors were for all of their color by number books, and I wrote it down. So I color the mosaic books with Copic too. And of course, with these books being printed on Amazon paper, alcohol markers, and of course the Copic, then they have a tendency to bleed, not just through the paper, but they feather out quite a bit because this paper is so absorbent, if you will. So, you know, the mosaic books are no exception. So what I do when I am done coloring in the picture, I kind of like to finalize it, if you will, by going over all the white lines in between all the shapes in them with a silver glitter gel pen. And that is the one time that I am glad that they are opaque, because it covers up wherever that Copic ink, alcohol ink, has kind of spread outside the lines. So yeah, it really gives it a finalized, more finished, polished kind of look to it. I should get one of those books out again now that I'm talking about it. These past few nights, I have been coloring out of Sun Life Drawings lines book, where you just pick out one color and you color in just the lines, and it creates a picture. I don't know if you've ever seen those or not. Excuse me. But I really want to get that book done. I think I only have, I don't know, maybe 10 pictures left in it. And I'm trying to use up, for those of you that have seen my video showing all my coloring supplies, I was then asked to do a separate video showing all of my glitter gel pens, and I'm like, no, it's embarrassing. But I did. I made a video showing all my glitter gel pens. And in that video, I showed, it's a white kind of carousel storage thing that I had gotten from Michael's when they were, I think they were 60% off once. And I put specific colors in each section, so I would have all my oranges and all my yellows, greens, blues, purples, pinks. And then in the middle, I divided it into 4, and I put my reds in there because you don't have near as many reds. Browns, blacks. I can't remember what else was in there. But I am trying to use up, those are all whole bunch of different brands of gel pens. They're not brand specific, so I don't have them in, like these Chromatex I have in their original packaging yet. All of my Color Technique I have in their original packaging because of the refills that you can buy for each brand. But what I would like to do is use up all of those gel pens that are in that white carousel so that I can move over the Chromatex and the Color Techniques that I have piled up on the top of one of my bookcases, along with all of the refills. And because Chromatech and Color Technique have their company name on the barrel, I will know which brand it is when I pull that pen out. And Misty's coming to say hi. Hello, Misty. Oh, you're going to sit up there? Okay. When I pull a pen out, I'll know, you know, which brand it is, so that if I run out of the color, I know which refill pack to reach for. I don't think all my refills will fit in the middle, because that's what I would like to do. I would like to put the pens all around the outside of this carousel, and then in the middle, take out that sectioning that I had made to go in there and put all the refills in the center. So of course I would take out all the refills that I have out of their boxes and, I don't know, maybe rubber band them together or something. Put all the Color Techniques together and all of my Chromatex together. Because, yeah, I have a number of, well, I have 2 boxes only of the Color Techniques. But I have, I don't know, maybe 5 boxes of the Chromatech. And like I said, this is my very last red one. But I will be showing you something exciting. At least I'm ecstatic about it. In a future Color and Chat, because I'm still waiting for part of it to come so I can show you all of this in, well, it won't be a Color and Chat. I take that back. It's going to be a couple of flip throughs of a couple coloring books that I recently got, and then I'm going to show you what else I got. So yeah, I am ecstatic to have found out about this. But I will keep you in suspense until the rest of it comes, so I can show you all of it all at once. So yeah. Alrighty, there's the red. Let's go back to the yellow then. One moment. Alrighty. Yeah, I just love how these are drawn. They're just so much fun to color in. They're not super intricate. They are perfect for gel pens, but yet you can get in here with alcohol markers, with water-based markers, just about anything. You could, you know, do these with pencil, you know, anything. Other than pastels might be a little tricky. But where there's a will, there's a way. It could be done, I imagine. And of course, some of these are a little more intricate than others. That is always the case, which is nice. Sometimes you feel like doing an easier one like this, and sometimes you get in the mood to do a more intricate one. At least I do. All depends upon the mood. Now that I started up this YouTube channel, I really don't have the extra time that I've been kind of putting off to begin with before I even had this channel, of working through my coloring classes that I have signed up for, a lot of them being Copic coloring classes through Kit and Clowder, and a couple other ones. Kit and Clowder does also have, this is the first one I'm going to go through, they have a free markers course. I think it's called Markers 101. So of course I'm going to start with that one and work my way through. I did sign up for, I was saving up for it for a while because it's a little more on the expensive side, but it is a skin and hair class, and there's a lot of lessons in it. And they always give you the stamp or the picture that she is coloring in, this Alice Keegan, who does a lot of the training. Or if it is on a stamp from a company that they're supporting, you usually get like a 50% off coupon, so this stamp will cost you maybe $1.50, $2, whatever. And so yeah, so then I will always save the emails that I get that is emailed to me if you are signed up for their monthly classes, because those don't appear on the website if you purchase, you know, if you're a monthly member. The other ones that you buy separately will all be on your dashboard in Kit and Clowder. But the monthly classes don't appear there, so you have to save your emails because the links are in there. So every month it's a different theme. And then you are also given a bonus class every month, and you get to vote on what you would like to see in the bonus class. So you're essentially, as a monthly member, you're getting 2 classes every month. The free bonus class, of course, isn't as in-depth as the regular monthly class, nor near as in-depth as if you purchased a class separately. Like that, I can't even remember how many lessons are in that skin and hair class, but it's a lot. But I really, really want to work with my Copics in learning how to color in skin and hair, because I'm sure it'll give me some ideas of color combinations to use. And I mean, in scouring the web and scouring YouTube, I have written down many, many notes. What are you doing down there, Bella? She's trying to dig through the floor. She just looks up at me like, huh? What was I saying? Oh yeah. Oh no, she's digging over here. What are you doing? Digging the china? What are you doing? Will you stop it? You're gonna wear a hole in my carpet. What? I just had you outside and you didn't go. I always like to take her out potty before I start a video, just in case, but she didn't go. As I was saying, I have a lot of color combos written down for skin, different ethnicities, and hair, and I mean, I have a ton of color combos written down on this little tablet and that little tablet. So I want to get all those together, and I don't know if you've seen my other video on my color combinations for Prismacolor that I put together. And eventually I would like to get just some separate sheets put together on skin tones and hair. Heaven only knows when that will happen though. But there was a lot of interest in those color combination sheets that I put together because I had told you in that video that if anybody was interested in those sheets, I scanned them to a PDF. And whoever emailed me, I sent them to them, along with a copy of the blank one at the end of the PDF. So if you wanted to add your own, you could. Well, I want to do the same thing with Copics, well, with all my pencils and my Copics. I probably won't do it with my budget-friendly markers. And just my main colored pencils. I got the Polychromos I would like to do, and the Holbeins. And I think I would stop there. That would be a huge enough of a project. But yeah, it would be so nice to get some color combinations down for Copics. There's a million gazillion combinations out there between Pinterest and YouTube and just out on the internet in general. Just like a lot of colored pencil combinations too, and I talked about that in the other video with my Prismacolor combination video. And if you're interested in that, go back and look in my video lists. And if after watching it you would like a copy of the color combinations, just again email me and I could send that out to you. All right, I don't know if I want to put yellow in here and then red. Oops, don't touch the page, Lisa. I think I am. All right. Let's see if I can get that dot off without smearing it all over there. That is the one thing about gel pens, especially glitter gel pens, and when they're juicy. You really have to watch. I just automatically, when I am doing my designs, my patterns, automatically color from the top left over or top left down and move this way, because you got to make sure you do not put your hand on the wet ink. And when they're nice and juicy like this, or like the colorets, they don't dry near as fast either. So I did buy, well, actually I received it with, I can't remember, it was a set of pencils maybe, can't remember, but it's one of those gloves where just the last two have fingers and then these are cut out. And I did work with it a little bit because my hands, you know, of course, always get really full of glitter, and you can see like my pinky. I always use my pinky to brace my hand. You'll see me with, you know, my little pinky out as I'm coloring, and that braces me. And so, yeah, my pinky always gets filthy. I always have to wash it after each coloring session. So, yeah, it just kind of braces me so I can color a little more accurately, if you will. So, I had tried that glove, and I don't know, for me it was just more of a hassle putting it on, taking it off. Because if I would, you know, take a break from coloring like we all should, you know, go to the bathroom or whatever, it was, you know, you got to take the glove off and then put it back on. Not that it was that hard or anything, but I don't know. Just seemed more cumbersome than it should, so I never really used it a whole lot, but I was thinking maybe of getting it back out again. It's not like it's going to prevent wet gel pen ink from smearing if you go over it even with that glove on, but it would help keep my hands a little bit cleaner. So maybe I'll get it back out and try it again. You back up here, Misty? Hmm? She'll probably come and attack my pen. Her sister, Callie, likes to curl up in my lap at night. But I always, you know, am sitting with my legs off to the left of me and my feet tucked underneath me when I color in my chair. And Callie will come up and cuddle up next to me on the right side of me. And she will sit there and she will watch the end of my pen move as I color. She's always going with her paw and she wants that pen. It's so cute. She is just a real cuddle bunny, cuddle kitty. But very, very timid. You would never see her up on this desk while I'm recording. Misty is Miss Sociable, and Callie, her sister, is a complete opposite. Just like in real life sometimes, right? And yeah, Callie is really, really timid. So when Maddie is here during the day, Misty's about the only cat that's out during the day. The other two, well, Midnight, my black one, you will see once in a while out and about. Callie, no. Callie hides. She typically sleeps on the dining room chair because it hides underneath the table. And she's thinking Maddie won't find her there. But many times Maddie does. And she'll just growl the whole while Maddie's by her, or she'll hiss because she's scared. You know, Maddie's loud and she moves too fast. So yeah, she really scares Callie. And I always tell Maddie, don't go by her. She's gonna scratch you. Oh, Misty's perched upon my books over here on the top of my desk, just purring away. You have such a rumble. So yeah, Callie's my timid little girl. And then there's Misty. She's, even when I have company and stuff, she never goes and hides, ever. She is always out and about with everybody, saying, pet me, pet me. And of course, as soon as Jaden gets here after school, oh boy, that's her buddy. He barely has his butt on the couch, and she's up there by him. waiting for him to get his legs settled so she can curl up on his lap. Or if he has his legs out on the couch and stuff, she's curled up in between the legs. Either down by his ankles or up by his tummy. So yeah, those two are such buddies. Jaden just adores her. I know I've mentioned that in previous videos, and the fact that with his anger problems and whatnot, and how Misty can calm him down, I had a custom diamond painting made a few years ago of Misty that I made for him to take home and put up on his wall. And when he got upset, he could talk to Misty. Not the same as cuddling her, I know, but... And he says he does talk to her once in a while at home, but... Typically, once he goes from 1 to 100, it's... sometimes that just is not going to help calm him down either. You know kids, right? Alrighty. Okay, now I think I'm going to put yellow in here again because we don't want to do red or orange. So we will put yellow in there again. I am still working on my lighting problem, so I, for the past couple days now, have been trying to rearrange the top part, the canopy part of my desk, put some things away in my room and kind of clean it off a little. And the light that was down here on my desk, I put up there thinking, okay, if it's up there, maybe it won't make my page so bright and washed out. So yeah, I did that. Well, yeah, it kind of worked a little bit, but then it was shadowy on this side because I wanted to put the light over on the left, seeing as how I'm right-handed. Couldn't put it on the right, or else I knew the shadows would, you know, cover up what I'm coloring. My hand would be in the way. So let's work this way. So I'm like, okay, now what? Now what can I do? So what I did was I cleaned more off the canopy up there and put more stuff away. And I had an OT light that I originally had on this desk, but I took off because that was just extremely bright and didn't have any adjustments on like this other light that I had gotten. It has different settings for the different type of light, whether it's, you know, real bright white, whether it's kind of dulled down, you know what I mean, right? And then after you pick the type of light, you can indicate, let's go this way. Getting dizzy yet? You can dim or brighten the light. Each type of light, you know, that you pick. And so that's why I wanted to get that particular light for my desk. Well, unfortunately, it was a little too tall to fit underneath my canopy down here. So it had to kind of stick out and take up some precious real estate on my desk. So now that I have it up there, that is nice that, you know, it is off my desk, but it still wasn't quite working. So yeah, I brought the OT light in and put that up over on the right side up here. And so now I shall see the next time I record at night. I don't know if that'll be tonight or not. It might be. I might record the inverted mandala color and chat tonight. And I want to see if that lighting is going to work out. Fingers crossed for me, guys. I don't know why I am having so many problems. It's not like everybody else has problems recording at night. I don't know if it's mainly due to the fact that I only have those lights to rely on because I don't have an overhead light in this room itself. Is that basically, for those of you who do record, is that basically what light source you use, is just your overhead light in the ceiling? Or do you have special lights down near your desk that you use too? And if you do, how is yours not real bright? And why don't you have the problem I am? I don't know. The only other thing I can figure out is it has something to do with the software that I'm using so that I can see my phone on my iPad as I am recording, so I can see if I'm in frame or out of focus, or, you know, it allows me to zoom in nice. I really, really like the software, or I should say the app, because it's on my iPhone and iPad. But I don't know if that's, you know, recording it too bright. I've tried to, you know, adjust it in the app itself and tone it down a little. But then it would just seem like it would get too dark. Hello, Misty. You coming to say hi? Huh? Come here. You can see her whiskers. Come here. Come here. You gonna watch my pen move now, huh? Are you shy? You don't want to show the people your face? You're just watching my pen, though. What is that? What is that? Waiting for her to pounce because she's staring at it, and then her ears will go back. Tail will be twitching. Now she's done. She's looking away. Didn't interest you anymore, but she's right on the other side of the book, on the other, not cover, the other sheet, because I have this book open, lying flat. So when I move the book around, she's moving. You're going to have to get off my book. She always has to be sitting on something. Here we go. We're moving. We're moving, girl. Yeah. She says, no, we're not. I'm out of here. Oh, now she's on my other books. Told you, she's got to be sitting on something. Always, always. Oh, my. I love Fridays. Have the day to myself, home all alone. I love my alone time. Are there any of you that like it, or do you not like to be home alone? I love it. I know, the grass is always greener on the other side, because before I met Bob and I was, you know, home alone when, because I was divorced, and so every other weekend the kids would be by my ex-husband. And of course, yes, it was nice to get a break from the kids, but, you know, when you don't have a guy in your life, and you know, at the time I knew I was better off without a guy in my life. But then, yeah, I didn't have coloring at that time in my life, and so it's like, I don't know, I guess I didn't want to be alone. That is when I had more of my depression issues too. And so yeah, being home alone at that time just wasn't as enjoyable as it is now. Now I love it. Alrighty. Okay, so even though orange goes up into here, we have red here, so I'm going to do orange there, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I should now or not. Well, yes, I am going to, because there's going to be quite a bit of ink used up in this section, and I do only have one red refill. What a reason for deciding what color to put where. I have to use my red sparingly. I don't have enough ink. That's what I was starting to say before when I all of a sudden lost my train of thought. I was talking about using up all my miscellaneous gel pens out of that carousel. And so I was using a bunch of them in that Sun Life Drawing one color line book. And a number of times because before I started each page, each picture, I knew that it was going to take more than one gel pen to complete, especially if the gel pen I started out with wasn't full. And so I would, before I even started the picture, I would pick out like a couple full gel pens that I thought when I swatched them out and compared them, they were the same color. But then once, one pen runs out and you start coloring with the next one, and all of a sudden you notice, no, that isn't the same. Oh my heavens, the one picture, this last one that I did, it was in browns. Can't remember what the picture was of now even. I want to say a meerkat, but I don't know if there's a meerkat in there. It's some kind of animal like that. And there are actually 3 shades of brown in that picture. Oh well. I should do a few rainbow ones, and I have a lot of greens to use up, so I'm going to be probably coloring a bunch of the lines and dots Sun Life drawing books with. Use up some of my greens, and of course I don't have very many reds and purples, of course. Pinks are kind of low, but I have quite a few blues and greens. And quite a number of oranges, I guess. But that carousel is getting emptier now. I did go through the thing first, and because after gel pens sit a while, I think because they are water-based, if they're sitting long enough, it seems like the ink disappears in them, and I think it's maybe the water eventually evaporating out of them. I don't know, but some of the gel pens would be just fine, and they're completely full, and they're just as old as the other ones. And yeah, they, because they've been sitting in there for quite a while, they take a little bit to get started, unlike a fresh gel pen. But usually, once they get going, they're pretty good. But yeah, other ones, it's like it's the magical disappearing ink. And so if they were almost empty, or just had teeny little bit down at the bottom, I threw them away. Because just at the time, you start coloring something, the ink is going to be gone, and then you have to try to match it up with another pen, and it's just not worth it. It's not like I don't have a ton of other pens. So I know I tossed out some gel pens. Don't shoot me. But yeah, so I did clear out a few that way too. Actually, quite a few. And the only reason they were sitting there that long is because I got into some of these other brands that I just fell in love with. There for quite a while, it was my Color Technique pens. And then the Color It, well, then I discovered these Chromatech. Oh gosh. It's like, yes, where have you been all my life? Okay, not all my life. Just since I started coloring. Well, actually, when I started coloring eons ago, probably, oh my, probably a good 20 years ago. The only thing that I had at that time, because I was not into gel pens, and there really wasn't the glitter gel pens out like there are now. They had gel pens, but they were mostly just for writing. So I had the original 132 set of Prismacolor pencils, because I don't think at that time that they had a 150 set. I had to, after the new colors came out, I had to buy them separately. But I had that set, and I had purchased the as many as were out at that time, the Prismacolor markers, alcohol markers. So I had a whole bunch of markers and a whole bunch of pencils. You know, like I said, the biggest sets that they had out at that time. And then I had to fill in with colors when new colors came out. And that made up the 150 set. And I can't remember, I know there's a 200 set now for the Prismacolor markers. I think, and we're running out of orange. Okay. I think I had 180 some of the Prismacolor markers, and they were the chisel tip, not the brush tip. I wish they were the brush tip. But because they were the chisel tip, I was not using them at all. And it was, you know, I felt bad having them just sit there. And I had bought a really expensive case for all of them to fit in the case itself. I don't know what I paid for it back then, but I checked out the price of it now, and just the case alone is over $100. And so I did sell that complete set of markers. All right, more yellow. It's going to be a nice sunny mandala. Bright like a summer day. Our weather has been actually kind of cold and rainy, but not cold enough to get the snow, thank heaven. I know Minnesota, especially northern, I know Duluth for sure, I believe it was. And then northern Wisconsin got a bunch of snow. It's like, come on, it's May. We just got a lot of rain. So that's okay with me. It's not okay with the farmers, though. They're really struggling. I mean, all their crops should have been in already. And there are a number of farmers around here who have not been able to get on the fields to drag it out, you know, with the drag and seed like the corn, and a lot of cornfields around here. But yeah, they just, especially if they're lower lying fields, it's just too wet and their big tractors would get stuck. So yeah, it really needs to dry out. After all that rain now these past few days, the rivers are all flooding again. The Rib River down here was flooded quite a bit. The entire playground this time wasn't underwater like last time, but it still was pretty flooded. And then on the other side of the road, as you're going out of town, of course, the river, you know, continues. It goes under the bridge and doesn't stop. It continues, like most rivers do. And next to the river, though, there's a big pond over here. And when things flood, that pond and the river become one. It's just one huge section of water. I think we're going to do, let's see, red, orange, red, orange, red, orange, red. Ah, that works out good. We'll do some combination colors here. So then the reds, or the oranges, aren't next to the orange here. We'll have more red. But yet not everything is the same color. And I think, so I don't have to get you sick too often, I'll go in with the red right away too. Well, must have had the TV on too long without changing the channel or something, because it went off. It's too quiet in the house. Do all of you do that too? You have to have some kind of noise in the background. I can't stand just sitting there with nothing on. I don't care if I'm watching the TV or not. I can be, you know, catching up on YouTube or whatever, but I have to have the TV on. Whether it's turned down so I can hear my iPad or whatever, but TV's got to be on. Bob will turn it off. If he's, you know, even if I take a nap in the chair, which I don't often do, but even if I do, I have to have the TV on. Is that silly or what? I'll turn the volume down, but I have to have it on. Because if I hear what they're saying too much, I won't be able to fall asleep. I'll want to look at what they're talking about. It's like, okay, want to take a nap, turn the volume down so I can't really hear what they're saying, but yet I know there's something on. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, I guess. But yeah, if there's nothing on and Bob knows he's going outside or whatever, he'll turn the TV off. Even if he's only going to be outside for a little bit, he'll still turn the TV off. I'll go outside to mow lawn or whatever, and I leave the TV on. The TVs these days are so energy efficient. It's not like that's sucking much juice, but Bob always thinks it is. When my daughter and her boyfriend were living here, they were big, well, especially her boyfriend was big into gaming. So he had his computer on or the Xbox on quite a bit. And into the evening. And that used to drive Bob nuts because he figured the electricity bill was going up. And I said, Bob, I said, those are very energy efficient The TVs nowadays are very energy efficient. The Xbox Ones are. The new monitors for computers. I don't believe that. So I looked it up online and I printed it out. He didn't want to really look at it because he still didn't believe it. Bob is a sweetheart to the max, but everybody has their faults, right? Oh man, oh man. Yeah, he is so good to me. I was so lucky when I met him. After, 14 years now, he still treats me like a queen. I get so spoiled by him. Not by, expensive gifts or anything like that. That's not what I mean. But just little favors he does for me. All the little things that mean so much more than a, diamond necklace or something like that. I don't need that. Even when I was working as a paralegal and I dressed up every day and wore jewelry and all that, I was never really big into expensive jewelry and diamonds and, your cheaper costume jewelry was just fine with me as long as it matched. It had to match what I was wearing. My earrings had to match my necklace. And they all had to match my outfit, and my shoes had to match my outfit. Yes, I was everything had to match. The only thing that I wasn't into to match, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are like this, is my purse. I have one purse, and that I don't care. I'm not a purse person to begin with. If I can leave home without it, which if I'm driving, I of course want it with me. But if I can get by without having to take it in with me to a store or whatever, I will. I don't like having to drag a purse around. So if I don't need my license or I don't need money for anything, no, purse stays home. So like when we go out to eat on Friday nights, or, Bob and I are going somewhere and he's driving, or I know I won't need money for anything, no, don't take my purse. As long as I got my cell phone. I've a number of times forgot that at home. I don't know why. I just walk out the door without it. And my youngest daughter's like, how can you do that? Well, it's because I didn't grow up with one attached to my ear like you guys. And so, yeah, wasn't always one of my priorities to grab when I went out the door. Excuse me. I'm going to do a yellow background again. I am getting better at remembering my phone now, though. Not always yet, but there have been a few times now when I'd be gone, like maybe on a Friday. Fridays, I always run into town, run errands, get groceries, things like that. So, yeah, I still have to do that. I have to hop in the shower yet and get into town. But there have been a couple of occasions on Fridays where I did forget my phone. One was just a couple of weeks ago. And here Bob had called, and I didn't have my phone. And Didn't even know it until I got home and I seen I had a missed call. And it's like, you rang? Oh, yeah, 3 hours ago. Did you forget your phone again? I go like, yeah. So, the only time it really is a big deal if I, don't have my phone, of course, is if there's an emergency, if somebody's really trying to get a hold of me, which, thank God, does not happen. Because typically if somebody wants to get a hold of you in an emergency, it is bad news, right? Or if I am having a problem, let's say I got a flat tire and I'm like, Bob, come change my tire for me. Knock on wood, that has not happened yet. I did one time run out of gas though. Bob's like, how can you do that? Because he is one where once the tank gets down to halfway, you fill up. Even in the middle of winter when it's 30 below zero. I'm like, because I hate stopping for gas. I hate it. I don't care if it's gorgeous out. I still hate stopping for gas. Oh, and he's the opposite. Especially if he sees a good deal on gas, like if we go out to eat on a Friday night and he sees that gas is really nice and cheap in Wausau versus here. Because we do have a couple of gas stations in Wausau. It's the Christ stores, Krist. I don't know if it's just a station around here or if they are, other places in the country, but for some reason, these gas stations sell their gas for like a good maybe dime a gallon, good 10 cents a gallon less than all the other gas stations. So one of our favorite restaurants that we go out to eat at quite a bit is right down the street from a Christ gas station. So whether he truly needs the gas or not, or he's able to only put in a couple gallons, he'll stop and fill up. And I'm like, okay, I didn't say this to him, but I'm like, okay, if you're able to squeeze in like 3 gallons, you are saving 30 cents. Is it worth it? But of course he would say yes. And I don't really care if he wants to stop and get gas for it, so I know I sure wouldn't be. I don't know why I hate stopping to put in. I hate stopping anywhere for anything, I guess. I don't know. Once I'm out and about, I'm just in a hurry to get back home. Because I am such a homebody. Bob likes to go out and visit, and he'll do the, he's gone a lot on the weekends. He'll go run home, well, what used to be his home, now his home's here, but go out there. He still periodically gets some mail there, so he'll see if there's any mail for him, and then he'll, see how his brothers and one sister is left out there. But he'll, kind of check on them, see how things are going with the house. And then he'll sometimes go and visit other people, or he's got to do this or that. He's gone a lot. And so I'm just either making videos, or I'm coloring, or I'm doing diamond painting, or, doing some of the things we all have to do, like laundry. And guess what I get to do this weekend? I'm so excited. You guys are going to think I'm nuts, but I get to mow lawn this weekend. Woohoo! It's not like the grass is really, truly long enough to have to mow. Although it sure is getting green out. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. But I want to, you know, even out the grass that is a little bit taller. The vast majority of the yard is, well, the backyard here, when I look out the patio door, that could probably use a mowing, especially up here by the house. It's getting a little bit long. Woohoo! But I also want to get the leaves picked up. Now, all of last summer, because of Bob's cancer and him going through all them treatments and whatnot, I did not bag any of the clippings because Bob would always take it down wherever he takes it. I don't know. I know it's back behind the high school somewhere where there's a place you can dump all your clippings and things like that. Take, you know, branches and stuff like that. And so last year I did not put the mulcher. Well, the mulcher was on. I shouldn't say that. The bagger wasn't on. And so, yeah, it just got mulched up. But, of course, most lawns that I know of are thicker and longer in some areas than others. And even with the mulcher on, without the clippings getting picked up, you would have, you know, a lot of dead grass that you could see on your lawn after it dried out, after the clippings dried out, and I hate that. I hate it. So I asked Bob, I said, well, I gotta stretch. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. It's been over an hour, so yeah, I got to get up and move for a little bit, and then I'll come back and I'll finish this and see if I remember what I was talking about when I come back. I doubt it will happen. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay, so what am I doing next? Let's do red in these, and we'll take it from there. It is now, let's see, what time is it? Wow, 1:30 in the afternoon. And I haven't eaten anything yet today. I should get something in my stomach because, as we all know, it is a cardinal sin to go grocery shopping on an empty stomach. We inevitably will look at everything and think, oh, I gotta have that. Ooh, that looks good. And you end up with twice the amount of groceries. Does that ever happen to you? I know it happens to me. So yeah, definitely gotta get some food in my tummy, because I'm gonna have to get going when I'm done with this. Bob will be home in an hour or so, and he'll be like, you haven't even taken a shower and got to town yet? What have you been doing all day? Coloring. He'll go, oh, okay. Nothing new. Okay, then we'll go in with orange. Bob's been doing really, really good now after his 2 surgeries. Had his checkup on Tuesday for his hernia checkup after his hernia surgery a couple weeks ago, and even though he went back to work on Monday, he got the okay from the doctor on Tuesday and a written letter that it's okay for him to return to work. But he has a 10-pound lifting restriction until May 20th. So I asked him yesterday, I said, so are they giving you more light duty now? Because I know on Monday he was not on light duty and he was lifting too much. And he says, yeah, they did put him on light duty, because otherwise he works at a place where they repackage cheese, and you know, they have 40-pound blocks and some that are even bigger than that. And I would not put it past him to have been lifting some of that on Monday, but now they just have him carrying 5-pound bags of shredded cheese that has to be repackaged. So I says, that is good. He says, you don't want to end up back in the hospital and back in that operating room, do you? I said, you have been in the hospital and in the operating room way too much this past, well, year and a half. I think he's sick of hospitals, so he says, you have to take it easy. So I hope he remembers that. Of course not. You know, if there's something he wants to lift, especially like here at home, he won't ask for help from me, or because he thinks I'm a little weakling, which I kind of am now that I don't go to the gym and work out anymore. I used to be pretty strong. Used to have a really nice strong back and stuff too, and I think that's why I have some of the problems I do now when I sit and diamond paint for a while, because my mid back gets sore from using those muscles when I'm sitting there. And I think if I would be able to again strengthen up those muscles in the back, and I had a nice strong core, because I would do like the plank. I'm sure you all have heard of that. And I could do the plank for like 2 minutes. I had worked up to 2 minutes. Doesn't sound like a long time, but boy, when you're doing the plank, it's an eternity. That is a hard exercise to do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Oh, but it really, really does strengthen your core, which is extremely important. That is one area of your body that definitely should be strong, because it supports your whole body. And yeah, with not getting to the gym now, with babysitting Heather's kids, I can tell. Like now when I start mowing lawn again, and we're going to have yellow against yellow, but, well, unless I do red again, and then yellow there, maybe we'll do that. Told you, I hate putting two colors next to each other, or the same color, two colors next to each other, yeah. The same color next to itself, so we'll do this. But yeah, now I was thinking, you know, once Maddie started, you know, pre-K, and, you know, maybe I could get back to the gym at least part-time. And now she's having another little one. There goes that idea. And I am not a morning person. The place where I was going to the gym, they do open up at 4 in the morning. But it's like, no, because there's a lot of people that go to the gym before work. I could never do that. Oh, my heavens, no. I would always, because I was working part-time, so I would work till noon and then go to the gym for an hour and a half every day. Was an hour and a half with weights, whether it was free weights or the weight machines, and then half hour on recumbent bike and half hour on the treadmill. So I had an hour of cardio and a half hour with weights. And I'd always feel so good once, maybe we'll go up here. When I got out of the gym, because, I mean, when I say I worked out on the bike, I worked out. I would have, well, you don't work with weights, of course, on a bike, but you turn up the resistance on a bike. So I would have a resistance on, and then the RPMs that I pedaled very fast. First, I always did a 5-minute warm-up, and I had a song list on my phone that I connected my Bluetooth headphones to, and I had a warm-up song that I pedaled to, and then after that I went to town. And I had a bunch of music that all was about the same beat, so I would just sit there and I'd pedal away to the music and sweat my butt off. I always had to wear a sweatband because, well, I get so sweaty and red in the face anyhow, really easy. And so yeah, it would just be dripping in my eyes. And then the treadmill too. I would do a warm-up song, and then my other songs were much faster, and I would work my way up regarding the incline. And I would never keep the incline at one consistent level. I would do it so it was interval. Go up high, come down, you know, and then of course you got your cool off at the end. And yeah, I would feel so good going out of there. You know, they always say exercise increases the endorphins and actually is very, very good for depression. And I do believe that because, yeah, I would just feel awesome coming out of the gym. Okay, I think we'll do these red and then orange around and then yellow up there. So yeah, maybe someday I'll get back to the gym. Now these first few times when I mow lawn, yeah, I'll make it as far as I'll get the side mowed. But I don't even know if I'll make it through. I have quite a large backyard. But at least the backyard is relatively flat. And I know I've mentioned a number of times being up here on the hill. On the sides of my house and the front lawn are very sloped. So when you mow up and down, you are either coming down the hill or you are mowing up a hill. So you really do get a workout, especially on the east side of my house, because that is sloped down at an angle in addition towards my neighbor's house, because my neighbor's house is lower than my house. So there's a big bank that goes down to their house. So it's really hard to mow that side. You're going like sideways against this big bank. And sometimes the mower will slip a little bit. I keep telling Bob it'd be nice to get new wheels on that mower, because I think the mower wouldn't try to slip and slide on me as I'm mowing sideways on this kind of hill, if you will. And then the front yard too is at a slant, but I mow that kind of kitty corner. So the backyard I love mowing because that's pretty well, not totally flat of course, but and I mow that at an angle too. So the backyard is nice. I like mowing back there. But like I said, I'm out of shape now after not mowing all winter. So, yeah, I'll probably make it halfway through the backyard and have to take a break. Whereas by the end of summer, I can pretty much make it all the way around the house without stopping. I never used to be able to do that before I lost weight. Never. And I do have exercise-induced asthma, so I have to always remember to take my albuterol inhaler before I start. And I've been doing that at night now. I don't know if you heard my other color in chat where I talked about I finally went into the walk-in, and with everything else that was wrong and this chronic cough and all that, they sent me over to the emergency room. I was so embarrassed. Because all I mentioned was there was like a heaviness in my chest, and I just meant that it felt congested and stuff. I didn't mean there was like pain or anything. Well, right away they think heart. And yeah, spend how many hours in the emergency room? Oh my gosh. And yeah, it was not my heart. But they did give me an albuterol treatment, and that did seem to help. So I did get a prescription for a new albuterol inhaler. And they did find scarring. They figured this is where the pain in my side was coming from. They found scarring in the lower left lobe of my left lung. They said they have no idea why, but could have something to do with why I get the pain in my left side so bad. I always want to make sure it's nothing to do with my kidneys, because I only have one working kidney, and that's on the left side. They discovered that a number of years ago when I went in just for a standard yearly checkup, that I was technically in, what was it, stage 3 kidney failure, according to what the creatinine levels and all of that stuff was in my blood. It's like my kidneys were not filtering my blood, all the waste out of your blood like they should be. So sent me to a nephrologist, and they did an ultrasound, and yeah, here my right kidney is atrophied to the point where it's, only like maybe 4 inches big, and it's non-functioning. And my left kidney is like probably almost twice the size that it should be, because it's compensating for the one that doesn't work. They have no idea when that would have happened. I may have been born with it. But then I always gotta wonder, why wasn't it caught before then? It's not like that was my first yearly checkup I've ever had. So I don't know. So now, once a year, I gotta go back to my nephrologist and, take these tests, make sure the kidney is still doing as well as can be expected for one kidney. And we all know you can live with just one kidney, so not that big of a deal. But when I get like the pain in my left side into my back, I get a little worried, because if that one quits, I'm kind of SOL. I definitely do not want to go on kidney dialysis. Oh, what a pain. So hopefully nothing in regard to that is congenital, because my kids already have to worry about polycystic kidney disease from their dad, because that runs in my ex-husband's family, and found out that my ex-husband also has them after the death of one of my babies, who would have been 2 years older than my son Cameron, and he died within 16 hours of my having him. He was born with adult-sized kidneys, and yeah, it was rare because he was born with, rather than infantile polycystic kidneys, he was born with adult polycystic kidneys, and that is kind of rare, I guess. But anyhow, I don't want to talk about that subject. So yeah, hopefully my kids won't inherit any kidney disease. I don't think mine is congenital. At least they didn't say anything about that. So my kids already got to worry about bad eyesight, because I was wearing glasses at 3rd grade, which I know isn't the worst. There are, some kids that have glasses before they're even in school. Alrighty, how we looking? There, I bet you I made you dizzy that time. Just spinning this mandala around. Okay, now we're going to go with yellow around there, and then I'm going to do alternating orange and red. And hopefully there's an even amount all the way around here, so we don't get two of the same color next to each other. That would be a bad way to end this mandala. Oh, it's too quiet in this house. When I took that break, I should have turned the TV back on. Even though I'm not in there. It's just so quiet. I just hear the kitchen clock ticking. Then you know it's too quiet in the house, when you can hear the clocks ticking. Bella's sitting here, laying on the floor next to me, looking out the patio door. Now, heaven forbid if she sees a squirrel. Ooh, I shouldn't even say that S word because she knows what it is. You'll go to her, kind of tease her and say, Bella, where's the... She's looking at me. Where's the SQU word? And she'll run to the window and just look and look and look. And if you keep saying it to her, whether she sees one or not, she'll start barking. So it's like, yeah, why do we do that? We complain that she barks, but it's so funny to watch. It's like you don't even see one. I think she always thinks she can catch them or something. She'll be pulling on her leash to try to get after them, and it's like, you're not going to catch it anyhow, Bella. Or birds, too. The cats go crazy when they're sitting here, too, by the patio door or out the front living room windows, because the living room windows go down so far to the ground or to the floor, and so they can just sit there and see out the windows in front. And oh yeah, if there's a bird out there, or even if there's a bug on the window, they'll sit there and they'll chatter at it. Have you ever seen birds? Have you ever seen cats do that? They'll chatter their teeth together. It is the funniest thing. I haven't seen my cats do that in a while. Midnight, my black cat, is a good one for that. So I have my chatterbox, and then Misty I call Thumper because she thumps one of her hind legs against the wall. If I'm out in the garage and stuff, I'll hear her do it against the door. It's like, okay, Thumper. I've never had a cat do that before. It sounds so goofy. And I don't have another name for Callie. She's just my timid girl. My off camera. I'm sorry. I'm trying to color sideways here so I don't have to flip you quite so much. Or I'd be turning this book constantly. Like this. Yeah, this color in chat is taking longer than I thought. Didn't think it would take too long to do this one. Oh well, from what I hear, you guys like that anyhow, right? I'm waiting for Anne to put out another long color in chat. I haven't seen any video from her this week. I hope she's not having a bad week again like she had last week. So hopefully we'll hear from her this weekend. She always likes to put out one long color in chat, typically on the weekends, so I always look forward to that. Love listening to her talk. Hopefully I don't bore you guys to death with my ramblings. I checked on the Mourning Dove when I was outside with Bella before. My ongoing saga of Mama Mourning Dove in the garage. I talk about how the mourning doves nested in our garage in past color and chats. I always have to update you as to how the mourning doves are doing. No babies yet. But I figured, you know, I should name these birds. They're almost like pets. And I don't know why. Don't laugh. All of a sudden, the name Emily came into my head, and I do not know a single Emily in my life. So it's Emily the Mourning Dove. So go out there in the morning, I'll say, "Good morning, Emily." Yes, I'm losing it. Well, then I had to name the daddy, too. Daddy's always out there on the Highline wire across the street waiting for the garage to open up in the morning so he can come in and relieve Mama off the nest so she can go out and eat. And so I'm like, well, I named Emily. I got to name him, too. What kind of name would you come up with? I thought, well, I wanted to start it with an E, seeing as how it was Emily. So it's, dun, 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 dun. It is Emily and Edward. Oh, man. Yeah, Eddie for short. Emily and Edward. Sounds royal, doesn't it? Oh, if I told Bob that, he really would think I'm off my rocker. Bob, I named the mourning doves. They're Emily and Edward. He'd probably say, "You gonna name the chicks too?" Well, of course. But I won't know if they're boys or girls, so I never really know which one's sitting on the nest out there either, but I do think the female is just a hair lighter than the male, or else it's the way she's sitting on the nest. These birds never move an inch when you're out there looking at them, you know. The entire time the mom or the dad is on the nest, you know they haven't changed places yet because they're always in the exact same position. So, yeah, if the bird is sitting differently than when you were out there last, you know it's the other bird. And I'll go up there and I'll look at her or him, and they just stare back at you with those beady eyes, but they won't budge off that nest. And they look actually like they are in a bird cage because of them nesting up on that shelf inside a tomato cage. So when you look at the bird up there, it looks like it's in a cage. It's like, well, yeah, you found an appropriate place to nest. I'm really flipping this book around on you now, ain't I? Sorry. Although maybe you're not watching and you're coloring yourself. I always say that. You're coloring yourself. Not literally coloring yourself. There's the yellow. So hopefully I won't have to flip it around too fast for this last part, because I'm going to keep both my pens out and I'm just going to alternate. I'll do one section red and and then go in with the orange. So then I won't be having to flip you around. So let's start here with the red. We're getting close to finishing this, and it is now 2 o'clock. And don't know if I'll get my shower in before Bob gets here. Oh well, it's not like he's going to be mad or anything. He very rarely gets mad at anything. Not at me, anyhow. The kids? Yeah. He gets perturbed with them quite easily. I can tell he never had children of his own, because I always tell him, Bob, you cannot expect these kids to be perfect. You know, and I always tell him, you got to pick your battles. You cannot fight over everything. If it's something that's not that big of a deal, let it go. If it's something that is a big deal, then you can, make issue with it. But if you make an issue out of everything, they're never going to listen to you. And, yeah, well, he grew up in a family of, was it 15, I think? So he came from a very large family and an extremely strict father, where you listened or else. Back in those days, it was, I don't want to say common, but not unheard of to get the belt or, corporal punishment of some sort. So, that's kind of what he grew up with. And I guess when you have an upbringing like that, where you are expected to obey, I guess you kind of expect it out of whether it's your kids or other kids. You expect them to behave or else. Now, of course, in this day and age, you do not punish your kids like they did back in those days. And I am definitely not saying that that is the correct way to discipline kids, because no, I don't believe in the belt. But I do think, with that being said, that kids are really, what's the wording I want to use? I think that they are Well, let's just say I think parents, if they spank their kids in public and then they get it for child abuse, I think is a little ridiculous. Especially if it was just a swat on the behind, because that kid probably deserved it. I definitely am not saying that you beat up your kid because they didn't wash the dishes or something, but I think the kids in this day and age are, not all kids, don't get me wrong, don't leave me comments, but I think they get away with a lot more than what we did. And with the use of technology these days, and yes, that is more stuff we can use as punishment. You go do that or you don't get your phone for a week. Ah! No, not that. That's why Jaden's one thing is, you do bad at school, you do this. No electronics, no Xbox, no iPod, no nothing. And that is a big punishment for him. Or when he's here, I have the iPad and I have an Xbox for the grandkids. And yeah, if he's grounded, well, you're SOL. I guess you should have listened. So yeah, I guess in this technology day or times, you can use that, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with everything that happens in our society regarding corporal punishment, or yeah, there's definitely laws and things put into place, like in the schools. You don't want a teacher beating up a kid, or it's not a teacher's place in the first place, and you don't want parents beating up their kids. But I think there should be more discipline involved than what is truly allowed, I guess, in this day and age. I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but I'm just rambling. I never really disciplined probably my kids the way they should have been either. I was a pretty easygoing mom. But my kids all turned out pretty good, so if I do say so myself. I didn't have any kids turn, to drugs or alcohol, or they're all pretty polite, well-rounded individuals. Some more outspoken than others. My oldest daughter has no problem speaking her mind. And sometimes can put her foot in her mouth. She's been known to do that a number of times. She didn't get that from me, because I am not a rebellious, outspoken one at all. I kind of refrain from speaking out. To the detriment sometimes, because sometimes I should have. But I was never a rebel, so at least not in front of anybody. I could say all kinds of things when I was by myself, but not to people's faces. I always avoided conflict at all costs. I did not want to get in a fight with anybody, an argument, because I would invariably lose. I could never think fast enough of a comeback. in the middle of an argument, even with my ex-husband. You know, he'd say this, that, and the other thing, and I'd get so upset. And then, of course, after the argument, it's like, I should have said this. I should have said that. But in the heat of the moment, darn it. And let's face it, we all have arguments, right? We may have the most peaceful household in the world, but there's still bound to be an argument here and there. Although not between Bob and I. We, in all our years of knowing each other, we have never had a full-out argument. Ever. He kind of knows well enough to leave me alone when I'm in a bad mood, and he very rarely gets in a bad mood to the point where I know I better not say anything. Very rarely. I can get in a bad mood. I will admit that. It's not real often anymore, but yeah, we just kind of respect each other's space and let them get it out. And because I don't stay mad very long, even when I do get upset. Thank heavens. You know, just give me a little bit to work it out and I'm fine. Well, we do not have much more to go on this. This looks like sun rays out here, doesn't it? You bored to tears yet? I must be running out of things to say. I'm getting quiet. Oh yes, we had a feel-good story on the news the other day. And when I come across these and I have a color and chat, I always like to include a feel-good story. And I'm not even sure where this was. I don't think it was in my area. I think it was just somewhere in the United States. But there was a mother who had a daughter, and this mother passed away very suddenly from a brain aneurysm. So it was very, very tragic. And it sounded like this daughter was pretty close to her mom. Well, it turns out this mother was an organ donor. And the very ironic part of the story is this daughter had, or has, I'm assuming still, a boyfriend. And this boyfriend had, and I don't remember what the name of the disease was, but his kidneys were shutting down. So yes, you know where this story's going. He was on, I think for a while, he was on the transplant list. And of course, you have to be a match and, you know, all that stuff to, you know, for your body to accept an organ from a donor. So that's why it always takes so long to find a match, and because there are so many people needing organs. But yes, surprise, surprise, her mother was an exact match for him. So this daughter was, you know, on camera and just bawling, and so was he. you know, saying that just to know that a part of her mom is inside of him, you know, just makes her feel so happy. And the boyfriend too, you know, he was crying, saying, you know, well, I love this girl, and I do plan on marrying her someday, and to just have, you know, a part of her mom with me all the time. And it was just so sweet. I love hearing those kinds of stories, because you hear so many bad stories. You know, so much bad is going on in the world, that to, you know, have these feel good stories that can make you smile, or at times make you cry because they're just so happy. Sometimes they just bring tears to my eyes. Isn't that a cool story? Something great happened out of something so tragic. And again, I don't think that was around here, but it was on our local news. But I still don't think it was right around here. Doesn't matter either way, the story's the same, right? It still reminds me of sun rays coming out. Couple sections and we're done. Excuse me. I'm surprised my voice doesn't give out on me during these longer colorant chats, but I must have the gift of gab or something. Typically, I don't. I'm not a big talker, believe it or not. Well, I don't really get out to talk either much, because with being such a homebody, I'm getting a tickle in my throat. Oh, sorry. And I really don't have any girlfriends or anything. I have my family, but, you know, that's about it. So I don't have a work life anymore. So I guess I just talk around here, you know, talk to Bob, talk to the kids. It's not like you have to keep your voice exercised or anything, right? I sure hope. I have not been checking the iPad much at all during this color and chat, so I sure hope I haven't been off camera a lot. I just glance over there once in a great while during this one, and that's when I would notice I would be off camera, and it's like, okay, how long that been going on? Oops. But I know I'm not the only one that happens to. And like I said, I am assuming you guys are coloring too. Or diamond painting. Or whatever. Doesn't even have to be craft related. Maybe you're doing the dishes. Although it'd be kind of weird to listen to a color and chat while you're doing the dishes. Don't think I've ever done that. First place, I wouldn't want my iPad near the sink because knowing me, it would end up in the water. Not that I'm klutzy or anything, but I can be. After I fell and broke my wrist umpteen years ago, Bob's always, because it was in winter and I slipped on ice, which shouldn't have been there in the first place, at this gas station we had stopped at. And ever since then, he always has to warn me, you know, watch out for the ice. Don't step there. Because, yeah, it was broken really, really bad. And I do have plates and pins and you name it in there now. Broke both the bones in there. Yeah, that was not a fun time. But that was many moons ago. Gosh, I wonder how long that... I remember it was on my sister's birthday. It was on March 8th. So I do remember that. But I don't remember how many years ago it was. It's got to be probably a good... Boy. Let's see. Bob and I have been going out 14 years. Well, I know it's been over 10 then. Because we were on our way, our anniversary when we first met is March 11th. So that's always our anniversary, even though we're not married. And so the 8th was on Saturday. So we were driving out of town. We were going to Appleton, which is a few hours away. We didn't have an Olive Garden at the time here in Wausau, so we were driving to Appleton to go to Olive Garden and stopped at the gas station for gas. And I went in for some reason. I don't know if I was getting a soda or something. And yeah, they had all this stuff dripping off the roof with no eaves troughs, and so all the water was collecting on the sidewalk and creating ice where it shouldn't have been. No salt, no nothing out. Down I went hard. Because you automatically brace your fall by putting, you know, at least I did, put both my hands back behind me to try to catch myself. And yeah, really landed on the one wrist really wrong. Alrighty, we're done. Guys, sick of me jabbering yet? And you're like, yes, she's done. No, because if you're watching this, that means you didn't turn me off. So it couldn't have been too bad. Oh my, yeah, I think this is going to be over a 2-hour color and chat. Holy cow. Because now this one's 51 minutes. I know the first part before I paused and took a little break was over an hour. So yeah, this is probably kind of long. But, oh well. So that is our finished mandala. I think it turned out pretty. I hope you enjoyed this color and chat, and I hope you are coloring along with me. If you like this, please hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to my channel. I hope everybody had a terrific week because this is Friday, and I hope you have a terrific weekend. And until next time, when I color one out of the inverted mandala, either tonight or tomorrow, happy coloring. Bye, guys.